Sean Gunn, welcome to the podcast, Mostly Superheroes, by far one of the biggest stars we've had on the show. Starting with the DC universe, you have already done a lot of work. I'm sure you've done a lot of this work that we're going to be seeing with Creature Commandos, coming really soon. So inside of or outside of those roles, Weasel, G.I. Robot, Maxwell Lord, what can you share with DC fans today about your future, in your brother's DC universe now? What's this looking like? What can you talk about?
Well, the first thing I can talk about is Creature Commandos, which is coming out, I believe, in December, and is an animated series that is sort of the first official project. I think that some of the, like Peacemaker and my brother's version of Suicide Squad are grandfathered in to some degree. But Creature Commandos is kind of the first official project for my brother James since he took over the DCU. They're calling it the DCU, and all I can tell you is I'm incredibly proud of it. It's awesome. I've been continuing to go back and do more work, and when I do voice work, I get to see a little bit more of it every time. It's one of my favorite things that my brother James has ever written, and it is just a really unique and special project. And the idea behind Creature Commandos is that one of the cool things about it is that the characters that were cast to do the voices were also cast to be able to play those characters in the live action versions, so they can cross over directly into the screen, and it'll be the same characters. And there's like these just amazing actors, Frank Grillo and David Harbour and Indira Varma, and like just an awesome Alan Tudyk, just an amazing cast. But the project itself is really special, and it does something that I think that my brother does really well, which is kind of, it can turn the tables on something, on taking something really funny and turning it dark or poignant or sad or joyful in different and unique ways. I keep telling people that I meet at conventions who are big Weasel fans, like, you're going to get to learn a lot more about the Weasel when you watch Creature Commandos, and I'll leave it at that. That you learn a little bit more about where he came from. And that's just a really super cool project. I also play a character, G.I. Robot. My characters are both, I play a robot and a weasel, so I don't need to resemble them, regardless of whether or not you think I resemble the weasel. I'll leave that to your own discretion. But yeah, so that's the first thing I can say, is that Creature Commandos is going to be great. And anybody who's interested in the new DCU, just like I keep telling everybody, well, watch Creature Commandos, and if you like it, then we're off and running. Because I think it's such a great project. And then Maxwell Lord, I'm honored to be playing that character. It's something that's live action and is a little bit closer to my age and my character. It's nice to play a human man in my age group.
Yeah.
I don't always get to do that in my brother's projects. There's a long history with Maxwell Lord. In the comics, he's had sort of a variety of incarnations, and I can't go in too deep into what we've talked about, but I can tell you that my brother sort of points out, he's really the comic book guy, right? So he knows backwards and forwards the history of these comics and what he's drawing from. I'm more of the guy who, I'm an actor first and foremost, and so I'm always approaching it from a little bit of a different angle. And I don't know the history of the comics the way that a lot of people do, but I do the research that is put in front of me. So when we talked about Maxwell Lord, we talked about why he thought that I would be right for this version of the character, and he gave me some materials for relevant source material to draw upon that I can't go any deeper into that, but I can tell you that that's how we approach the work. And I'm excited for people to see it. I think that it's a pretty he's such an awesome character. I've enjoyed tackling him, as much as anything I've ever done. I was like, people always ask me what's my favorite role I've ever played, and I always say, like, either the next one or the last one.
Yep.
And I loved tackling Maxwell Lord. I don't think I'm talking out of school if I say that, like, we're not going to see a whole lot of them in the first couple of things, but I look forward to doing it more.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much for that. That was like a full expose, bookended for DC, like where we're at with you. And you're not just an awesome actor, you're a really great storyteller. And we will be here for everything DC. I promise you. We'll be talking about it. We've been counting down all of it.